Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالإحن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه حاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
ورحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي دل على ذاته بذاته، والذي خلق المشيئة ثم خلق الأشياء بها. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، الملقب بطه والمكنى بأبي القاسم محمد. وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين المنتشرين المغلوبين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلى الله محمد وعلى محمد. Respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May you allow salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
Inshallah, from tonight, the topic that we are going to start is Vilayat of Ahlul Bayt and Tawassul. In the first few nights, we will be covering the topic of Vilayah, so that the reality of the Vilayah of Ahlul Bayt becomes clear to all of us, and it becomes easy for us to understand the reality of Tawassul and its validity. Today, inshallah, we will be getting introduced to the topic of Vilayah. The first point that I would like to explain in front of you is the meaning of the word al-wilayatul takwiniyah. But before that, I would like to say a few things. When we talk about Vilayah, Vilayah has two kinds. One is al-wilayatul takwiniyah, which we will explain later inshallah, and the other is al-wilayatul tashri'iyah. Wilayatul tashri'iyah is not going to be a topic of discussion for these 10 nights, because that relates to the authority of Allah, and by virtue of the power given by Allah to the Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, it is the authority to make rule and to tell people about the rules. In other words, no one has the right to make rules, to make sharia. Allah is someone who makes rules because he knows what is best for the human beings whom he has created. And therefore, he only has the right to make rules, and this goes back to the authority of tashri'iyah, which is from the word sharia, al-wilayatul tashri'iyah. That is, of course, not a part of our discussion throughout these nights. The category that we are going to discuss throughout these 10 nights is al-wilayatul takwiniyah. And now we will start explaining what al-wilayah and the word al-takwiniyah means, and we will further go and explore a few more topics tonight, inshallah, with the loud salawat of yours. Al-wilayatu at-takwiniyah. Al-wilayatu at-takwiniyah. The word takwiniyah is, if we prune the additional letters here, the real word is takwin. And by the way, I will keep repeating this point once and again, that this topic in itself requires a lot of explanation and a lot of focus. So I hope I have all of your attention here. Takwiniyah is, the real word here is takwin. The word takwin means, if you go and check the Arabic dictionaries, for example, in Lisanul Arab, the author of the dictionary says that the word takwin means to bring into existence something. He writes in his dictionary, kavvanahu fatakavvana. He created something and therefore it came into existence. And therefore, Allah is known as Mukawwin, someone who brings forth something into existence from nothing. If you, for example, take few things together and join them and give them a shape so that it becomes a usable object, that is not takween. For example, if you bring wood by cutting a tree and you create a chair from that wood, this is not takween, because this is something which has been created from something. It is not that this is something which has been created from nothing. That means there was nothing before this thing existed, and then this thing was brought into existence without taking the help of anything that already existed. Takween means to create something so that it comes into existence from nothing. He created that and it became into existence. So this is the meaning of takween, or in other words, the ulama al-lughat, the people of dictionary, they say ahdathahu fatahaddath. The same meaning here, he created something and it came into existence. So takween is the creation of something. Coming to the word wilaya, the word wilaya, people have given a lot of meaning for the wilaya. They have, for example, said that wilaya is also in the meaning of love. Wilaya is also in the meaning of muhabbat, love, in the meaning of nusrah, that is help. But all these meanings, the ulama say that all these meanings, that means the different meanings of the wilaya that have been told by different scholars, these are not the root meaning of the word wilaya. The actual meaning of the word wilaya is qurb. In the Arabic language, the actual meaning of the word wilayah is qurb, that is closeness. Something, if it is so close to another thing that there is no space left between these two things, it is said that they both are the wali of each other. One is wali, one is Maula, for example, and the other is Maula alayh. Inshallah, in the coming nights, we will be going into further exploration of these topics. So, as of now, if you feel like there are a few things that you are not able to understand, please do not worry. Inshallah, with the help of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, we will be discussing this topic in detail, and we will be able to understand the concept of the wilayat of takweeniyah. Allah salawat on Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Wilayah. I said the meaning of the word wilayah, the real meaning of the word wilayah is qurb. That means someone is so close to something that there is no hijab between those two things. There is nothing hidden from these two things. When we talk about the wilayah of Allah, it is in this meaning that Allah is the closest one to whatever exists. Allah has wilayah over all the things. That means Allah is the closest one to whatever exists. And He has such a relation with all that exists that nothing can hide anything from His knowledge. And that's why we read in Quran, وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. Allah is with you wherever you are. And this wilayah has also been transferred from Allah to the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And that's why we also have in the same Quran a verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. Wherever you turn your face, there is the wajh of Allah. Wherever you turn, you will see the face of Allah. And we know from this very Quran that wajhullah is not in the literal sense, the face of Allah. Rather, what Quran is trying to say is that Allah has a face through which He is identified. It is not a physical body. Rather, the face of someone is for His identification. If, for example, I ask you, someone sitting here, if I ask you, do you know that person? Let me take an example. If I ask someone sitting here, do you know Brother Muslim Abbas? And he says, yes, I know him. That means he also knows his face. He identifies him through his face, not through his hands or legs or neck or whatever, whichever part of the body. The face is the source of identification of someone. And therefore, when Allah says, Kullu man alayha fan, whatever is on the earth will vanish, وَلْيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ, except the face of your Lord. When Allah is using the word wajh, face, for himself, that means he is pointing towards some existence which are the source of his identification. That means if they are known, Allah is known. If they are known, Allah is worshipped in the true sense. And therefore we get the result that when Allah says in the Quran, فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ, wherever you turn, you will see the face of Allah. That means the reality of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam encompasses this whole existence. And this is the meaning of wilayah. Just as Allah, by virtue of his wilayah, is the closest one to his existence, Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam are also the closest one to Allah's existence after Allah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And therefore, when we say al-wilayatu takwiniyah, and now we have defined that the word al-wilayah means closeness. And by virtue of this closeness, we can further add meaning to this word, that because of this closeness, there should be love. Because of this closeness, there should be help. These meanings are under the meaning for the closeness. So once we have defined that the meaning of the word wilayah is closeness, and the meaning of the word takween is to create, then the term itself, al-wilayatu takwiniyah, means that the authority to create something or to have the authority over the entire creation, whatever exists in this world. This authority, first of all, belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this discussion is important. This authority, first of all, belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, because Allah wants this wilayah to be manifested in front of his creation, he has made Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam the sources of the manifestation of this wilayah. Therefore, we hear from the pulpit sometimes, or we read in books, people saying that the wilayah of Allah is not parallel, or in other words, the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is not parallel to the wilayah of Allah, rather it is vertical to the wilayah of Allah. This sentence is incorrect. Let me repeat that for you. Please write salawat. Let me check one thing, if this discussion is interesting for you and if you are able to understand whatever I'm trying to convey. I would like to hear a loud salawat on Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This thing needs to be understood first before we move forward in our discussion, discussing different topics under this topic of wilayah. The wilayah of Allah is neither, let me say it once again, the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt, the wilayah that they hold, the guardianship that they hold, is first of all not parallel to the wilayah of Allah. Of course, this is something that is totally understood by any common man, any common Muslim, because nothing is there in parallel to Allah. But then we hear this thing that the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is in vertical relationship to the wilayah of Allah. The word that we use in Arabic that you must have sometimes heard is that the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is not in tool, is not in ard, rather it is in tool. We have arz for horizontal and the tool is for vertical. But this is not correct when we discuss the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt in relation to the wilayah of Allah. Why is it so? First of all, when we say that the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is not parallel to the wilayah of Allah, that is quite easy to understand, and we do not need any explanation for that. Because nothing can exist in parallel to Allah, as He is the very source of existence. So whatever is there starts from Him, not in parallel to Him. Isn't it? Then we come to the point that the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is in vertical relationship with Allah, that is in pool. But this point is also not correct, because when we consider the existence of something vertical to the existence of something other, we must have to admit that the first existence must end at a point so that it acts as the beginning point for the second existence. If you draw a vertical line and I ask you to start drawing another vertical line, you first have to end the first line so that you begin the second line. I hope the point is clear. If you are talking about two vertical lines, the first vertical line first must end so that the second vertical line starts. If we believe that the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt is in a vertical relationship with the wilayah of Allah, we then will have to admit that at a certain point, the wilayah of Allah ends, and from there the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt starts. I hope when I say this, you already have the idea in your mind that this is something totally batil. Because for the wilayah of Allah, there is no limit. La hadda li wilayatillah. There is no limit for the guardianship or the authority of Allah, so that any other guardianship or authority starts once that limit reaches. So therefore, how do we define the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam in relation to the wilayah of Allah? We define it like this, that the wilayah of Allah has no limits, and therefore the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt is actually neither in horizontal relationship nor in vertical relationship. Rather, it has a manifesting relationship with the wilayah of Allah, that the wilayah of Allah exists throughout His existence and over all the existence, and this wilayah of Allah gets manifested through the Zawat al-Muqaddasa of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Through the existence of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, this wilayah is manifested. We can have a lot of examples. We have, first of all, the miracles that the prophets in their lives showed, and Quran has reported these miracles. Or in narrations, we have miracles of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam and his Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, reported in the narrations, where we see that they are showing miracles. Or sometimes, because miracle is for someone who does not believe in Allah or who does not believe in the prophethood of Rasulullah. So miracle is for those people. Sometimes it is not miracle, rather outside the boundaries of miracle, which is known as karamah. And the lovers of Ahlul Bayt sometimes used to come to Ahlul Bayt and used to ask them, if you have authority over this entire universe. They already believed in the Imam of Ahlul Bayt. Even then they showed them such acts, and these are considered outside the boundaries of miracles. Rather, they are called as karama. So we have these evidences from the Quran itself, where, for example, we see that Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, by the permission of Allah, is able to make someone dead alive. He is able to create birds from clay, and he would make them alive, and the birds will start flying. He would blow in them, and by the permission of Allah, the bird made of clay would become an alive bird, and it will start flying. People who had leprosy would used to come to Hazrat Isa, and he would place his hand over them and would cure them. So this is the wilayah of Allah that is being manifested through the prophets and the Imam alayhi salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Therefore, we covered tonight the points that the meaning of the wilayah is closeness, and other meanings of the wilayah come under this meaning of the word wilayah. And the taqween is the word used for creation of something. So therefore, al-wilayatu taqweeniyah for the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam is the authority over entire universe. When they want, by the permission of Allah, they can bring something into existence, or they have the authority over the entire existence, that whatever they say, that existing object will have to follow. A person once came to Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
And he asked, Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, most of the time we ask, what is Allah's right upon us or his slave, his creation? But he asked an opposite question. He said, Ma haqqul ibadi ala Allah. What is the right of a servant upon Allah? He asked this question once, Imam remained quiet. He asked this question twice, Imam remained quiet. Why the Ahlul Bayt used to remain quiet, they themselves know. Then he asked the question thrice. He asked the question third time, and then Imam raised his head and he said, Min huquq al-ibad ala Allah. He asked, what is the right, in totality, what is the right of a slave upon Allah? But Imam is not saying حقوق العباد على الله. Rather, he is saying من حقوق العباد على الله. One of the rights of a servant of Allah upon Allah is this: لو أشار إلى تلك النخلة أن أقبلي إليه فأقبلت إليه. One of the rights of a servant of Allah, one of the rights. Try to understand your own position. But that depends upon how seriously and how sincerely you worship Allah. It all depends upon that. Then you will see, even from your own existence, karamat coming out, such acts coming out, manifestation of such acts. Imam Muhammad Baqir says, one of the right of the servant of Allah upon Allah is this: لو أشار إلى تلك النخلة, if he points towards this tree, أن أقبلي إليه, and says to it that come towards me, O tree, this tree will start walking towards him. And the narration then further says that the moment Imam said this, that tree started coming towards Imam, and the Imam said, Irji'i ila makanik. Go back to your place. I was only giving an example. Why I read this narration in front of you is to show you that Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have this wilayah over the entire universe, that if they give command to anything existing in this universe, it will obey their command, and if they want, they can bring anything into existence by the permission of Allah, of course. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. With the permission of Allah, please end our tonight's discussion here, and inshallah, after a few words, we will be moving towards the Messiah. And just for the sake of announcement, kindly note that the Urdu Majlis is going to start at 8 p.m. and I will be coming to the minbar at 8:05, or most probably between 8:05 and 8:10. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If you want, you can switch off the lights. Tonight, inshallah, as we have entered into the month of Muharram, we will be discussing an event or few events with you, where we show you how people prepare themselves for the month of Muharram. Anyone, God forbid, if he has not realized the importance of these nights, he must know through how many hardships and through how many struggles these things have been transferred to us. In today's era, it's really easy for us to gather in a place and commemorate the martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. But in the earlier times, people did not have so much freedom, and people did not have these many resources to do the azadari. People used to save from their little earnings every month, so that even if they do not eat as much as they require, they have, after 11 months in the month of Muharram, this much amount of money so that they do azadari. This has been transferred to us with a lot of efforts and struggles. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, there was a family. I was listening to this narration from a scholar yesterday. There was a family in one of the places in Iraq where they used to hold the Azadari of Imam Hussain every year. Something happened and this man lost his business and he lost all his savings, and finally a time came when the month of Muharram was going to start. Now this person comes to his wife and says, what are we going to do in this month of Muharram, because we do not have any savings left. I have also lost my business and my heart cries over this, that we do not have anything to commemorate the martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and to have the Farsh Azza of Majlis in our house. Now his wife replies, she says that we still have one thing, and if we sell that thing in the market, we will be able to do the Azadari of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. This man says, have you hidden something from me? That you are saying that you have saved that thing and we can sell that and we can get some money to do the Azadari of Imam Hussain alayhi salam? And his wife says, it is not that I have hidden something from you. I have something over which I have spent 18 years of my life. I am talking about my son, upon whom I have served 18 years of my life. I have done the best upbringing for him. I have fed him. I have given him my blood. And now I would like, because for the sake of Azadari of Imam Hussain, I am ready to sacrifice anything. So I want you, oh my husband, if you can go to the market and sell my son, because at that time people used to sell slaves so that they earn some money. If you can go to the market and sell my son, telling people that he is your slave and not your son, I promise that I will never weep upon my son, because I want to do the Azadari of Imam Hussain. This person is really sorry for this state, and he asked his wife if she is sure that she would like to sell her son in the market of slaves so that she is able to do Azadari, and she says, yes, I am ready. And then you know what happened? The son came inside the house. The father called him and he said, your mother wants you to be sold in the market of slaves so that we have some money to do the Azadari of Imam Hussain. Ajrukum ala Allah. Do not feel shame in crying over Imam Hussain alayhi salam. I told you a narration, man baka aw abka aw tabaka, who cries or makes others cry or even make face of a crying person, he has heaven. Allah makes heaven wajib for him, so do not feel any shame in crying. So this person asked his son, if you are ready to go to the market of slaves so that I sell you there and get some money. This son was also the lover of Imam Hussain. He says, oh father, if after selling me in the market, you are able to do the Azza of Imam Hussain, I am ready to be sold in the market. Now his father tries to take his son to the market. He readies him, and for the last time, this mother hugs his son tightly, because she knows that from that day she will not be seeing her son. Now the father takes the son to the market, and now he is on a horse, and the son is sitting with him on the horse. He goes to the market. People are not buying him for the price that the father wants, because he has an idea about the expenses that he was going to have for the Azadari. Keeps asking people for the amount, and they were not ready to pay. Finally, the father thought that, let me go back to the house. Perhaps no one is there to buy my son. Then suddenly he notices someone coming on a horse, and he asks, "Who are you selling this slave?" That person says, "Yes, I am selling this slave of mine for this much amount." That person who came on the horse pays the amount to the person and says, "Come and sit over my horse, O the ghulam of Fulan and Fulan." The son of that person is not told to him as the son of that person. He says, "He is my ghulam." He doesn't say, "He is my son." Now this person who has bought the ghulam asks him to sit on his horse, and now they are moving forward. The father goes back to his home, and now this person who has bought the son moves forward, and this son says, "I actually am the son. I am actually the ghulam of that person." And this person on the horse says, "Do not lie to me. I know that you are the son of that person." Now this son turns back to that person on the horse who has bought him and asks him, "Oh person, who are you that you know that I am the son of Fulan?" He says, "I am someone for whom your father sold you. I am Hussein ibn Fatima. I am Hussein ibn Fatima, for whom your father sold you to me." Now this father reaches back to his house. He told his wife that, "I have sold my son for this much amount," and he gave the amount to his wife. And then suddenly there is a knock on the door. The father opens the door, and he sees his son is standing there. His father says, did you leave the person who bought you?" And the son says, "I did not fled away from him. It was Imam Hussein who bought me. And then when he asked me to go back to my home, I said, Ya Maula, my father may think that I have fled from you." Imam Hussein says, "Tell your father that Sayyidul Shuhada has freed me, and I have now come back to you." فلا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين فسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Oh Allah, please accept our majlis. Oh Allah, please accept our deeds. Please hasten the reappearance of the Imam of our time. Oh Allah, anyone who is sick among us, please give him shifa. Ya Allah, we ask you in the name of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, Ya Allah, declare us among the lovers of Ahlul Bayt such that we follow their path. Oh Allah, we ask you that in these 10 nights, please help us in revolutionizing our souls. Oh Allah, hasten the reappearance of your last Hujjah, Imam Zaman alayhi salam, and declare us among his helpers and his ansars. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin.
उसके नसीब में है खुल्द कम से कम, उसके नसीब में है खुल्द कम से कम, जो भी गमे हुसैन में एक बार रो पड़े। अब मैं दरख्वास्त करूँगा माशाल्लाह सिराजी भाई से कि वो खिदमत इमाम में अपना नजराना अकीदत बसूरत सलाम पेश करें। माशाल्लाह सिराजी भाई। मोहम्मद वाले बेट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
सलाम। रोता है मदीना, रोता है मदीना, मरने के लिए जाते हैं घर से शहवाला, रोता है मदीना, माँ बहनों से जा के गले मिलती है सुगरा, रोता है मदीना, ज़ैनब के खरीद जमा है सब, अहले मुअल्ला कहती है हुआ क्या, गर्मी में सफर ठाना है हज़रत ने ये कैसा रोता है मदीना, सुगरा का ये आलम है कि कहती है बहसरात एक एक की सूरत, दिल से है बयाब यही मरना है, यही घुटना, रोता है मदीना, अब अहले वतन गिर्द है और बीच में हज़रत कहते हैं बशफ़क़त, दिल से मुझे बख्शो जो कोई जुर्म हो मेरा, रोता है मदीना।
तुरबा से चले सात नवासे के पैगंबर हमरा हैदर सर खोले हुए पीछे चली आई है ज़हरा रोता है मदीना देखी नहीं जाती है देखी नहीं जाती शे मज़लूम की जारी जाती है सवारी चिल्लाती है सुबह मेरे बाबा रोता है मदीना रोता है मदीना।
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला